hardcore. There is a lot of unhappy England fans this morning. We are going to break down exactly what went wrong. And if there is anything that went right, we're going to talk about that too. And maybe offer a little bit of perspective because the French have finished second in their group. The Dutch have finished third in their group. So maybe it's not as plain sailing as what everybody thinks. It's football, fellas.
Right, Fozzie, you mentioned about the French finishing second and the Dutch finishing third. So maybe it's not quite as bad as we thought, right? So this tournament seems to be turned on its head a bit. What do you make of it?
Listen, last night, it's hard to be like really optimistic about what happened last night because obviously when we went to the game, we were sat in amongst the fans. At full time, everybody seems to be very annoyed. There were boos as soon as the whistle went. Gareth Southgate's walking around the pitch and apparently he's had bloody beer glasses thrown at him and all sorts. But the performance in general, it wasn't good enough, was it? It's as simple as that. The performance wasn't good enough. There wasn't enough attacking flair, enough attacking freedom. Players didn't seem to really believe that they could just go and beat the man, get balls into the box. I don't think we had a shot from distance. Jan Oblak, you expect him, if Slovenia were going to keep a clean sheet, to have the game of his life. And he didn't even have a save to make, did he really, Watto?
No, I mean, we spoke about it when you were doing the vlog yesterday, how comfortable he made Foden's free kick look. And really, apart from one action when we all kind of got up from that end of the stadium, and that were actually the only time it really worked in our favour, that Trippier were playing left back with the right foot because Foden laid him in and he just whipped one in. Gallagher just missed it. Kane just missed it. But apart from that, Oblak had a very, very comfortable evening.
He did. Now, you've both been there with England at tournaments. Surely, you tell me, what's it like from inside the camp? We've qualified, top of the group. Job done, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, right? And I honestly think with about 10 minutes ago last night, Gareth Southgate kind of looked around, looked at his team on the pitch and went, I think I'm just going to settle for a 0-0 draw here. But with the teams that we've got in our group don't get me wrong, finishing top of the group is the most important thing, but 1 win, 2 draws. I just worry that you've got teams in this tournament, the Germans, the Spanish, that would just go and absolutely bop that group. 3 wins out of 3, clean sheets, goals for fun. Which takes them into the knockout stages, full of confidence. Everybody, like the Spanish the other night, Spanish made 10 substitutions, didn't they? Wow. All of that squad now go into the knockout stages, fresh, good to go, looking forward to it.
And what about the shape of the team, Fozzie? So just off camera there, you were saying about like having a player that can, because of the way the Slovenians set up, you were saying you just wanted to see a player beat a man, and it would have just created a little bit more trouble for the Slovenians.
Yeah, well, the Slovenians we knew they were going to do this anyway, didn't we? We knew they were just going to try and sit in. We knew they were going to stay in their slots, not try and get drawn out or dragged out. And it's a concentration game for them, basically. They need to be on their game, 100%, just staying in their slot. Don't get excited. Don't do anything silly. But when you're playing against a team like that, you need to have flair players, confidence players, that when they get on the ball and they're running at the man, they're willing to take them on. And it wasn't really until Cole Palmer came on that he was the first player I saw that was happy to sort of stop, stand his man up, do a little jink and then try and beat his man. And once you beat your man, that guy, he's left floundering, he's out of the equation. Somebody else has to come in, step out of their slot and try and cover that space, which then again is just like a knock on. It's a chain effect, you know what I mean? And then somebody else has to come over and cover him. That's where the gaps start to appear. And it wasn't until Cole Palmer came on that started to finally happen.
Yeah, it's almost like Jackie Grealish could have made an impact, didn't it?
Exactly that. That's what you need, though. You do. You got the first half. We spoke about it as well, didn't we? The first half, we created some chances, but it wasn't from beating your man. Phil Foden got some balls into the box, and you got some joy in behind. But that is from some lovely, slick, one-touch passing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was the only way I thought we were going to break them down until Palmer came on. We didn't beat them, like you said, so they never had to really come out the slots. But we played, I actually thought in the first half, we kept the ball really well, but we upped the intensity of the play and the tempo of the play in the final third. And there were 2 or 3 times where actually the slickness of the passing and the runs off the ball nearly created what you wanted, but we didn't do enough of it to really sap their energy and the legs off them. Yeah. So as the game progressed, they'd have got tired, because it were a perfect, we know him really well, Roy Hodgson, for a 4-4-2, they got it spot on in terms of their tactics, because we didn't have enough flair to beat the guys in the one-on-one battles. We relied on ball speed and runs off the ball, but we didn't have enough of it.
No.
Quickly. So Tony Pulis would have been watching last night and just, he'd have been sitting there going, Slovenia, that's beautiful to watch, honestly. That's exactly what, if Tony Pulis was playing away against one of the big boys, he would have said, boys, this is what I want you to do today. And they executed it to a T as well.
Stifled us, didn't they?
But it also shows tactically, you don't always have to think really defensive and put 3 centre-halves in, because a 4-4-2 working really well is the ultimate formation. And it's very, very difficult to break that down. Sometimes you think, obviously we've played Denmark the other night, and that were a back 3, or 3 centre-halves, and when the wing-backs drop in, it's a flat 5, and you think that's a real defensive shape and whatever. But the 4-4-2 done properly, with everybody knowing the jobs, is tough.
But that's unfashionable these days, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But Slovenia did it, and did it really well. But I thought we got it right first half tactically. I saw more energy. I thought Rice sitting in there at the bottom as a 6, pushing Bellingham on with Gallagher, and then we've got 2 wider players. We've got 5 attacking players really working against their back 4 when we were really offensive and on the front foot. But I didn't think we were brave enough to get Rice the ball to start the attacks off, because he didn't really want it as much as maybe as he should have, but we weren't brave enough to really find him in them pockets.
There were a couple of occasions where Jordan Pickford was doing goal kicks again, and I know we spoke about it in the last one about how many long kicks Jordan Pickford did, and last night he didn't really have that chance to do many long kicks, but the couple that he did do, he just went long. And there was one in particular we were looking at, weren't we, where the 2 Slovenian sort of attackers, basically, they were standing on the edge of our box trying to sort of mark. Declan Rice stepped into that midfield space, and there were acres of space, weren't it? If Jordan Pickford could have just played a dead simple ball through the middle into Declan Rice's space, he could have turned on it and got straight at that midfield 4 for Slovenia, which straight away, the 2 attackers are out of the game. They're out of the game, which means the 2 central midfielders then have to try and step out of their pocket, which means that our front boys go, oh yeah, go on then, Deckers, we've got a bit of space here then. But it just didn't happen. Went long, and they win the first ball, and it's just,
But we made it easy for their shape to work, because as they're pressing with that 2 up front, if we would have tried and worked that pass in between, all of a sudden they narrow up as a front 2, because they don't want the ball into Rice, who's not getting marked, because we've got 2 8s higher up and their 2 6s are marking their 8s. And all of a sudden, if we actually found Rice, a 6 has got to leave his 8, as in our real attacking players, leaving a Bellingham and a Gallagher, and as soon as he jumps into Rice, he's took it on the half turn, and one of them lads has created a nice little angle, because their man marker now has left, because he's got to go and press Rice, and all of a sudden then simple pass to our better ballers, and
it's cat and mouse,
and we've broke the game.
It's literally cat and mouse. It's like I say there, that goal kick I was talking about in particular, their 2 attacking players were stood on edge of the D there, right? And if the second we start playing that ball into Declan Rice in midfield, them 2 no longer stand on the edge of the D. They come much closer like that, because it's lesser of 2 evils for them, basically. They don't want the ball getting into Declan Rice. So that means I'd rather just have one of the defenders have it instead. And that's what we'd have been able to do. If we show that bravery, that we're willing to get the ball into the midfield and take that risk, they go, all right, sod that, abandon standing on the edge of the D, lads, come in closer, just let one of the defenders have it, because he's not as good on the ball as what Declan Rice is.
Well, I love that, lads. That's really good stuff. Second half, Watto, we were sat behind, what were we behind? Pickford in the second half, weren't we? Yeah. So we were quite high up. We had a bird's eye view, and you really liked this, didn't you? Yeah. You said normally you're kind of pitch side on the halfway line. Yeah. So what did you notice tactically how we set up in the second half?
For me, actually being sat there behind the goal, I mean, amazing tickets and the seats. and the height and the perspective it gave us, you could see the shape of both teams. And obviously, when you're not down there on the dance floor, it's easy to talk now. It's easy to talk in the stand because it all tightens up when you're at pitch level and these guys are playing, and the spaces we think are there are not necessarily always as simple, because football's not that easy. You have to be world class to play in this tournament and play for England and have the mentality to do it. But the shape of the team, for sure. Look, I thought Gareth got it right first half, leading into the second half, if you like. But he made a like for like change with Gallagher, and we still wanted to be on the front foot, 4-3-3. But as the game developed, the most disappointing thing for me is we ended up really matching Slovenia in a 4-4-2. Bellingham goes up to join Kane. We end up with Foden, Palmer, Mainu and Rice. And yes, you would think 99 times out of 100, man for man, 4-4-2 v 4-4-2, we'll be better and we'll beat them. But you go back to the point Fozzie made earlier, we didn't have a man on the field who was so dangerous that we created space for somebody else, because they never had to really double up because we weren't that threatening. And as the game slowed in the second half, for whatever reason, and yeah, they were sat in the 4-4-2 really deep and whatever, but we didn't play as quick in the second half. And you were hoping they made that mistake through sapping the life out of them, the energy, the legs, the mentality, but we didn't do enough of it.
With what you saw from Cole Palmer last night, he's got to start the next game, right?
Possibly, yeah, possibly. I can't commit to that for
No,
you.
no, but
it depends who we're playing against. It really does depend who we're playing. If we're playing a Holland in the next round, for example, you have to pick a slightly different team maybe than what you would if you're playing against one of the lesser nations. It's as simple as that. Kobbie Mainoo, thought he did absolutely fantastic. Just on the good things from what came from last night, Cole Palmer, everybody now is up in arms. Like you said, I agree with you. I thought he was fantastic when he came on. Bukayo Saka, I haven't seen too much from him in this tournament. Jude Bellingham was disappointing last night. Marc Guehi as well last night. Again, was just... we were looking at it last night.
He looks the real McCoy.
Genuinely, right? There were so many times where difficult balls were getting played over the top to him, and there was once where he slipped and had a bit of a mistake and got a yellow card for it, I think. But other than that, everything else was so calm and composed, and he reads it so well, and he's strong getting across his man, and when he gets the ball at his feet, he's calm and composed to either give it to John Stones next to him, Jordan Pickford behind him, find that ball into the midfield. He was absolutely phenomenal. But Kobbie Mainoo as well, I think he's the one that's nailed on that will be starting in the next game.
Do you really think so? Because looking at like the substitutions, again, yeah, there was a little bit of tactical change in the second half, but it just seems to be that it's a conveyor belt of, let's try him there now.
Yeah, let's give that a go.
Let's give, that didn't quite work.
Yeah. I felt for Conor Gallagher a bit last night as well, because it is a case of like, oh, well, that's the problem position for England. And yet again, it's not the problem position for England. Kobbie Mainoo did really well when he came on, don't get me wrong, and he is a little bit more front-footed and wants to get involved and maybe sort of like play those difficult balls in behind or into forward players. But that's still not the main position that we need to worry about. I think it's kind of too easy really to, let's just change that because that's going to fix everything. It's not. For me, it's a massive mentality switch. You've got to have these real front-footed players like the Cole Palmers, like the players that want to stop their player, stand them up, do something and beat the man and get the ball into the back of the box and get the ball into the box. And we just don't seem to have enough confidence to do that at the minute.
If you were the manager yesterday, Watto, what would your strategy have been from the off, formation-wise and how you'd set up?
Yeah, I thought first half we got it right. 4-3-3 against a 4-4-2. We've kind of, the only advantage they had was they'd got two centre-backs against our centre-forward, which is Harry Kane, and we've just spoke about how we needed to find Rice, who were our pivot and our free man, get him on the ball as the quarterback and start dictating play. But we didn't get him on it enough. And my honest thoughts are, I think Rice is a phenomenal player. But Arteta at Arsenal, the last 10, 15 games, I'm not quite sure of the numbers, brought Jorginho in as that quarterback and thought, do you know what? I'm going to put Rice higher up. His energy, his runs, his timing of the pass, the physicality he's got to get in the box and create mayhem up there. And I've got my quarterback here, sat in front of me two centre-halves. And I think looking at the game last night, that sixth position sat there with the other two, Bellingham and Gallagher, as it started in the first half, in front of him, I didn't think it suited his play. We spoke off air there about my time working with the national team and that, and we had, I thought, a phenomenal footballer in Jack Wilshere, who used to sit sometimes at the bottom there, and he'd stand in front of that back four for us, but he'd get on the ball, he were brave, he's always scanning, he'd always won it, but he'd get the game going for us. And I don't think Rice is in that moment in front of our back four to get the game going for us at the minute. I think we're more relying, really. Guehi's been phenomenal, but watching from where we were yesterday, I think he'll always pass it to Stones and let Stones step in like he does for City, rather than him dictate the game.
For Arsenal as well, though, you've got an Odegaard in front of him as well, haven't you? So for Declan Rice, he knows he's got Jorginho, world-class behind, and then he's got world-class Odegaard in front of him. Don't get me wrong, Jude Bellingham he's a lovely player, but he's not that jinky little Martin Odegaard that can happily take the ball. We didn't even look to try and get the ball into Declan Rice. I guarantee you at Arsenal, it will go through Jorginho into Declan Rice. That's the way that it will work, but we don't do that. We just kind of either go long or we get it into the defenders and then we try and one-touch pass. There's no turning on the ball, or your body on the half turn, looking around, ready to turn into space. Honestly, that goal kick, I keep looking back at it, what I'm thinking, oh my God, if he plays a really strong ball into space there, those two central midfielders from Slovenia would have been looking at Declan Rice, turning onto that ball, running straight at him and gone, oh, this is a problem. This is a problem.
It seems the whole world, though, kind of go, Declan Rice is the holder, right? Who sits with him. But actually, like you said, yesterday, when he was advanced further up the pitch, carried the ball a couple of times really nicely and ghosted past a couple of players. And you think, he is effective, he's powerful, he's got legs. So who could be that quarterback?
Well, look, we're not in the mix, if you like, seeing them day in, day out. Obviously, Arteta sees his players and it's a simple thing. He thinks Jorginho's the man. If you think about the squad we've picked, Wharton's obviously not had a minute yet, so real tough ask for him. I
don't think he'd trust Wharton to do it. I don't think he would. Wharton's I love Wharton, I do, but I just don't think now's probably the right time for him to try.
Gallagher obviously started. Yeah. I actually think the managers hurt him a little bit by taking him off at half time. We spoke on the last show, why didn't we change Trent at half time? And I thought the manager were protecting him a little bit. And then all of a sudden, boom, takes Gallagher off. So you're kind of losing him a little bit there because he's thinking, well, surely I didn't do that bad to come off at half time when we've never made a change at half time so far. And actually we were 0-0 and in charge of the game, really.
But would the backroom staff not have communicated that with him? If it's going to be this, score at half time, we might look at changing you. Is that something that would be communicated with players?
Normally on the morning of a game or the night before a game, if it's an afternoon kick-off, you sit there as staff for sure. You've done your game plan, you've prepared your meetings, and obviously you have to adapt and react in the game for whatever the opposition do or don't do. They might throw a curveball in and change a shape, but you try and look at your tactics of if everything's going rosy, but you certainly look at the scenario of if we're 1-0 up, this is the boatload of changes tactically to see us through, or if you're 1-0 down, we've got this. But at 0-0, it's then you want, where are the game-changing substitutes? And sometimes it's not always like for like. And as I said 5 minutes ago, in the end, we ended up matching up a Slovenia team that were very, very good at 4-4-2. And as an England team, we've come away from 4-4-2. So I'd never thought we were going to beat them. And Palmer coming on were the only one who were going to move one of them out the slots.
Should we talk about Harry Kane, because 3 games so far now, he scored a goal against Denmark, but again last night, just dropping so deep, wasn't he? So deep, so many times. And there has to come a point where somebody has to say to him, like, Harry, mate, you're making this so easy for whoever we're playing against. Those back four for last night for Slovenia would have seen Harry Kane disappearing 30, 40, 50 yards away and just been going, thank God for that.
In the first 5-10 minutes, there was, you can see that the guys have reacted. Like we talked about in the first half. And Harry Kane was pressing more, wasn't he?
Yeah, sure.
But he did again at one point. I was looking, I think, who's that on the ball in the second half? Who's that on the ball just inside their half? And I think it was fucking Harry Kane.
Yeah, I know.
Get on the pitch, mate.
It's like we start. Oh, don't worry, it's hot. It's hot, right? It's 30 odd degrees. It's hot for Slovenians though as well. It's a different type of football that we're playing compared to them. Yeah, we're the ones trying to chase and harry and press, whereas they're sitting and chilling. So I don't agree with the consensus of, oh, it's hot for everybody. It's hot for, we're doing two completely different things, right? They're chasing the ball, trying to kind of stop them getting behind us, and we're pressing, trying to get it off them, trying to get into spaces, get into places. And I just think that we wait too long to really do it. We wait too long to really commit to the press and really start going after people. It's not until the second half where it's like, right, we've got 20 minutes left now, then lads, I know that I can run pretty much flat out for 20 minutes.
Well,
so
isn't this why we have the substitutes?
Exactly.
Isn't this why you just run yourself
Honestly,
into the fucking ground?
I'll go back to Tony Pulis. Honestly, he was famous for it. He used to say to the lads, he would have 3 or 4 players, right, and he'd go, 60 minutes today, but give me everything you've got for 60 minutes. He said, from the very first minute, give me everything you've got. Run yourself into the ground. You can have a day off tomorrow as well. Don't worry about it, all right? But then he'll go, when the lads, 3 lads are coming on, half an hour you've got left, you lot. Half an hour, he says, I do not want to see you walk for a second. 30 minutes of hell for leather. That's what you give me. And that's what it was. We knew that that's how we were going to make it. I just feel last night watching it, it just took them too long. It's because I was thinking like, still got an hour left here. I don't want to go emptying the tank so far, especially in this heat.
We spoke last night on the way home, didn't we? We were in the car on the way home and we said like, I know last night's game was important and we needed a draw and we should have win, but wouldn't it have been nice if Southgate had maybe had those cojones, Watto? I think you said last night, and go, let's stick Watkins in, let's try it, and we're going to save the guy, the goal scorer for that round of 16 game or the quarter-final game.
Well, I think Ben touched on it early, didn't he? You know, Spain, 2 wins, 2 clean sheets, 10 changes, still a win, still a clean sheet, and they've brought the group together. He knows that he trusts the other guys. The other guys will be very supportive of the 11 that start the next game, but they're all ready. And the cohesion between the group has got to be better than what we've got. Of course, look, running into the ground, all these things, that's what it is. But we spoke off air. When England play, it is, for the majority of teams, a World Cup or a European Cup final for them. And we saw the reaction when the whistle went last night. The Slovenian players, all their staff, they were like they'd won the tournament. I mean, the reaction was incredible, and that's only something you feel when you're in an England camp, how tough it is, because everybody wants to beat you. But that's what playing for England is. And we've got to have the characters, personalities, and the physicality to be able to come through that. But going back to the original point, and Ben's bit, we have to run through a brick wall for 60, 70 minutes. The amount of players that are on the bench now, so you can make good changes. We have to utilise that.
Look at Jude. He's done what? Jude Bellingham's played 270 minutes. He's just won the Champions League. Luke said last night, didn't he? Broke it down. He's just won the Champions League. He's played a 60, 65 game season. He's had 10 days off and he's played 270 minutes in the group stages. He ain't going to be walking into the round of 16 fresh as a daisy.
You can see last night he was off it. You can see last night he was tired and sluggish and his touch weren't great. I read a stat this morning that he lost the ball in possession about 16 times or something like that, which is an awful lot for any midfielder, let alone a Jude Bellingham. I think that was one that was crying out for. I agree with starting him, it's Jude Bellingham, but you can see very quickly that he's off the game. You could see that in the first half, couldn't you? His body language was off as well. He was pointing here and there now and then.
He's fighting it, isn't he?
Yeah, he's fighting it, So just make the decision, take him off, take him out the firing line and get somebody else on there as well. And think about Ollie Watkins. What will Ollie Watkins be thinking on waking up this morning or sitting on that bench last night, seeing these players come on, seeing Jude Bellingham players up the top alongside Harry Kane? I think Ollie Watkins will be thinking, what have I got to do here?
And he's a young man, like Jude Bellingham. He's a young man, but he is one of the leaders. So he just needs somebody a little bit senior, Southgate, just to put their arm and go, listen, we're going to give you a breather here because we need like a little bit like Kane. We're going to need you as we progress further through. But I think, as we kind of wrap up the episode, it'd be nice to finish on a couple of points because
on.
I mean, listen, we don't want to. You saw all the stuff in the media with Harry Kane having a little nibble back at Lineker, and we said last night we don't want to sit here for 30 or 40 minutes and bash the lads. We want to get behind them, but we've got to be fair with it as well, haven't we? But a couple of things. We went into the tournament and everyone was saying, we look weak at centre back. We look at weak at centre back. John Stones and Guehi look good.
Lovely.
They look good. And actually, John Stones, we were watching him last night. he was showing real leadership.
Yep.
There were a couple of times he picked players off the team, picked players up off the floor.
Yep.
He was really cajoling the guys. And then at full time, he's straight over to the fans and he's clapping them and he's dragging the other England lads over.
Yeah.
That was really positive, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the best thing that's come from England so far. I'd say is the biggest shining light, the biggest plus point of all of it is them two. That was the big worry. It's our how are we going to be able to defend again? But that's not our worry whatsoever now, is it? It's completely switched. It's how that midfield is going to work and how that front line is going to work and how are them two going to integrate and connect and how are they going to... And it's just not firing yet. It really isn't.
And actually, people will say, oh, you must watch Marc Guehi. He's played all season. But like you said, Watto earlier, when you sit there on a real good view like we had and you see the way he moves around the pitch...
Mate.
You were really impressed.
Oh, really impressed. I thought he read the game really well. One mistake, but in any position you're going to make your mistakes. But his speed to recover when he's in a tough moment, but his physicality to hold off the centre forwards, and then the calmness just to play a simple pass. And simple passes are effective for him. Win your battle, simple pass, give it to somebody who you think is a little bit more composed maybe or can find an option. But he has been the shining light. I actually believe if we can get Shaw anywhere near fit, that brings us some balance to the team. The back four and the goalkeeper are probably as high up there in the tournament as anybody's. It's the mid to front of the team that's not functioning really well.
This is where all the questions have come from today then. So going into the next game on Sunday against whoever it's going to be, there's some massive decisions to be made. We could see, well, you don't know what you're going to see, but we could see up to 3 changes. We really could. Bukayo Saka's been quiet, let's be honest.
He has, yeah.
Phil Foden looks better when he's playing in a 10. Anthony Gordon came on, looked okay. Kobe Manu did really, really well last night.
And what about left back, Ben? Do you want a left footer playing left back?
I want Bukayo Saka playing left back. Yeah, you do. You want Luke Shaw. It's as simple as that. I know he didn't see a minute again last night. We've got 4 or 5 days until the next game. By all accounts, he's nearly there.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought he was going to be there for last night. So if we can get him in, Kieran Trippier did great. Don't get me wrong. But when you're coming up against better teams, you need that balance. You need that left foot. So whoever is playing in front of Luke Shaw, that will help them out massively as well.
Okay, and let's finish up with the best performance of the night, which was the England fans.
The England fans.
During the game,
during the game.
voice. We were by the drummer.
We had
and
the drummer. Is it clarinet?
No, trumpeter.
Was it a trumpet?
Yeah, it was a trumpet.
Yeah, trumpet.
Yeah.
He's got 3 little buttons and...
Yeah, he did, didn't he? They were phenomenal, weren't they? Oh my gosh. There was a period in the second half, right? There was a 20-minute period from about the 60th minute to the 80th minute, or 65th to the 85th or something, where that guy banging that drum must have been sweating his back out because he was pounding the life out of it and he was just getting the whole stadium going. It was phenomenal, wasn't it?
What do you make of the... Because I totally agree. The England fans were bloody brilliant last night. And I know there was a little bit of unrest at full time, but they got behind the lads on the whole, didn't they?
Yeah, look, obviously it's emotion. It's emotion for the players. It's emotion for the manager come the end of the game, and the fans are emotional. But I have to say, being in there and with them and so close, my ears are still affected by it, but so close to it. In the second half, everybody in the stadium, but particularly in the area where we were behind that goal, and the chants, the rhythm. Honestly, it felt like for 45 minutes we were driving that team forward. And look, the lads gave everything for sure. We can talk about little bits and pieces, but the fans were trying to drive it home. And I think that's where the frustration came at the end. But look, fair play. The manager came, walked around that edge of the pitch in a difficult moment for him, everybody being critical. And ultimately, the fans in the end, yes, you could argue little bits and pieces were negative towards him and whether something was thrown or not, that's irrelevant to me. But he stood up there, led his team, the players came round it, and the fans in the end respect that from the England manager and the team. But actually, that second half performance from the fans is what I think following England is. The just last moment of not winning the game hurts everybody.
I think you can look at it two ways, can't you? It depends what kind of person you are, really. You can either be, that negative Nelly, which I know a lot of people do, and
Like
will
to be with England.
Yeah, it's easier to be like that. It's easier to jump on the bandwagon and be negative, and you can say that performances have been crap and blah blah. Or you could have your rosy rose glasses on, have it sort of glass half full. We've won the group, top of the group, which gives us potentially an easier run going forward, and we've got no injuries as well. And for me, we've done what we needed to do. The tournament starts now, lads.
Yeah, I like it, mate.
Quiz time. All right, Jamie, are you ready with those 10 quiz questions?
We are ready. Yeah, and we've got
Scores on the doors. I've got 1, you've got 1, 0. 10 questions. No controversy like the Jorginho question last week, okay?
I'll try not to. I'll try.
No,
not
Jamie there was a bit of heat for Jamie, but he asked the question right.
You sure?
People
Yeah.
interpreted it wrong.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm backing him on this. Normally I won't. Will I, Jamie?
yeah,
I'm backing him.
normally I'll get
We're
the grief,
backing the
but
Quizmaster.
Fine.
This means today's performance for you is going to be outstanding, Johnny.
Yeah.
Come
10
on,
questions
Jimmy.
and a tiebreaker. So ready? Question 1. France won the Euro 2000 tournament, but what team did they beat in the final?
Portugal.
No.
Germany.
No.
Italy.
Italy is the correct
Oh my
answer.
God.
1-0 to
I
Ben.
haven't seen the questions.
Shot in the
I
dark.
have not seen the
Yeah,
questions.
that's just a shot in the dark, mate.
Shot
that.
in the dark.
France won 2-1 on golden goal.
Oh, wow.
Is that
Materazzi.
was
headbutt.
Zidane headbutted Materazzi?
No, World Cup final.
That was World Cup final, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't know. Question 2. Who is the current manager of the Austrian national team?
Rangnick.
Rangnick is the correct answer.
Ralph Rangnick. Yeah.
Man United's finest.
Yeah.
1-1-0.
That's just the scores in the quiz, Tom. It's all right, mate. It's all right.
Question 3. Where were the first Euros hosted?
Spain.
1960.
Sweden.
No. Where were the first Euros hosted in 1960?
Hungary.
No.
England.
No. The answer is France. There you go. If you know, you know. You know what I mean?
If you know,
don't
you
know,
know.
but
And
now we know.
We know now, Jim.
Question
We'll get to know.
4.
Oh.
Which two teams have won the most Euros?
Italy.
Spain is the correct answer. Italy, no. Spain and Germany have won the Euros 3 times each.
But you said which two teams and he only answered one?
You only needed one
One
of the
out of
answers,
two
though, didn't
teams.
you?
Oh,
He only
okay.
needed
Ah,
one.
but that's where they're going to be at you, Jimmy, because like the clarity's not quite there. I was
Apologies.
playing one up front or two up front.
I knew what you meant, Jay.
Yeah,
fine.
and he got it right, didn't he?
Apologies.
No
Well
problem.
done, Ben.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, for this question, I want you all to close your eyes for this one.
Oh, okay.
Close your eyes.
That's danger.
How many roses are on the England badge?
9.
No.
3.
No. How many roses are on the England badge? 5.
6.
No, the answer is 10.
Good question. Very hard, but good
Yeah,
question.
10, and it's the levels in the FA when they did that.
Is that the Yorkshire Rose?
Very good.
It should be.
Very
we're,
good.
We're white. That's the enemy. That's Lancashire.
Question 6, score 1-1-0.
No, he's on 2, isn't he?
2, yeah.
See, I'm even looking after you this morning.
There are 5 scorers in this current Euros on 2 goals, but can you name one of them?
Mbappe.
No. There are 5 top goal scorers in this current Euros on 2 goals. Can you name one of them?
This is embarrassing.
Wow.
Shaqiri?
No. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's awful.
Wow.
So bad for
So we've
us.
got Cody Gakpo, Fulkrug. I'm going to absolutely butcher this, guy from Georgia. Georgia's Mikatandzi,
That's exactly how you say
Perfect.
it. Well done.
Perfect.
Musiala, and Schrantz.
Darn it.
Yeah.
Well,
Musiala, of course. Bloody hell. Full crew.
Question 7. Who was the top goal scorer in Euro 2008?
Ronaldo.
No.
Torres.
No. Who was top goal scorer in Euro 2008?
2008.
Yep.
Timer, Jay.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Closer?
1. No. It all. Huh?
Goetze?
No, it's David Villa. Spain obviously won the tournament, and David Villa had 4 goals.
4 goals won it.
4 goals won it, yep. Question 8. Can you name an England player, except for the goalkeepers, not to feature at Euro 2024?
Adam
so
Morton. I mean, I started saying it first.
Who did you say?
Adam Morton, I said.
Tom.
Thanks,
I'm gonna give it.
Like,
Went to VAR and
Well,
I'll give that to Tom, yeah, because he's on 0, so no.
of course you would.
can you name the 6 players?
Is this for a question? Is this for a point?
No point. Just for fun.
Konza.
Yeah.
Morton,
Yeah.
Tony,
Yeah.
We spoke Shaw.
Yeah. 2 more.
centre back.
Got 2 centre backs left.
Dunk.
Dunk and
Oh, wait there.
Rambo doesn't count.
no, Rambo doesn't count. No. Shall I give it to you?
Go on then.
Joe Gomez.
Yeah.
There we
Right-footed
go.
left back.
Yeah.
So 2, 1, 1. All to play for, lads.
How many questions left, Jimmy?
2 questions remaining.
Come on, then.
Germany have scored the most goals in the tournament, but who is second
In this tournament,
Spain.
in this tournament?
Holland.
No and no.
Portugal.
No. The answer is Austria. Germany have scored 8 goals in first place, and Austria are on 6.
Wow.
How many Spain got? 5.
Yes,
man.
they're on 5.
We're having a bad one today, lads.
Yeah, this is.
The tough quiz, though, I like it.
Final question. Who scored the winning goal in the Euro 2016 final when Portugal won?
Silver.
No. You guys can put it to a tiebreaker. Have a think about this. Who scored the winning goal in the Euro
If
2016
you get this,
tournament
lads, you deserve
final?
it. Because I can see him and I know who it is, but
Who
I
did
don't
they
know
beat,
who it is.
Watto?
when Portugal won the final? They played France.
2016.
You know, I'm gonna
Yeah.
win. I'm gonna win it by default.
Yeah.
I'm gonna win it by
I can see
default.
the
'Cause
goal.
This is really tough. This.
Plus.
It was in extra
This is
time.
really tough. This is.
Extra
Centre
time.
midfield player.
It was against France.
Yeah.
Lloris was in goal.
Yeah,
And he
I
think he should have saved it. You know.
Yeah,
Oh,
he should.
stop
I
it.
promise you.
Keeper's corner.
It'd be a good keeper's corner for
Yeah,
the
I
Euros.
think he should have saved it. You know. But if you get it, you deserve it all.
2016.
Can you put that card away a bit, please, Jay? You're waving it there.
I'm not getting.
Is
I'm not
that
getting the name.
too late for? That's too late for Deco, isn't it?
No, it's not him, mate.
Nah, it's
I know.
I didn't say that.
Yeah,
I was
give a
just,
countdown
I was
or
just
something,
talking
yeah.
out loud.
I think the whole fans want these guys to get the question correct.
We'll be here all day then,
I
mate.
can
to be honest
see.
with
I
you.
can
Are you
see
going
the
to
goal.
pass? Are you going to
Oh,
pass?
it's not that striker that was bang average, was it?
5,
What was he called?
4,
You ain't getting it.
3.
lads. It's tough.
I'm not.
Ronaldo.
Getting it.
It's really tough.
I'm not getting it.
Did we get to begin with an
2.
E?
It begins with an E.
Yeah, I can't. I remember he came on. He scored and he banged it from like 20 yards, 25 yards.
The answer is
Right,
Adair.
There.
I'd never have got that in a
Adair.
million years.
Me
Yeah,
neither.
1-0,
It's a
extra
tough one.
time. Scenes going crazy.
Wow.
I feel like I honestly feel like I've just
You
won
don't.
that by
You
default.
don't feel like you've won, do you?
Nah, not really. I'll take it, obviously.
We were poor in the quiz today.
Yeah.
really poor.
I think that was a tough quiz, Jay.
Tough quiz, Jimmy.
Toughie.
Sorry, sometimes you need tough quizzes. Sometimes they're too easy.
You
Sometimes
got
you
to
get
be
more
pushed
correct.
sometimes, haven't you?
Yeah.
Disappointed.
We'll
with
be
that this
reading
morning.
our sports books over the next few days.
Yeah, do some research.
There you go. That was quiz. Get in the comments down below. Everybody, tell us how awful our ball knowledge is.
Yeah,
we deserve it.
zero
We do.
ball knowledge.
We deserve it. We did a Cycling GK vlog for the game last night against Serbia. It's on the YouTube channel. Go watch it. It's an absolute banger. It's a banger, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
very,
cracking.
very
We
good.
got some famous friendly faces in there.
Famous faces. Love it. Right, we'll see you all soon. That was a football fill-in. All the best.